Tourism. What are some famous tourist spots in your country? Thank you for the question. Malaysia, the South Asian country, is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world, and millions of tourists come every year to visit the places. Malaysia has a wide range of attractive tourist spots for the global visitors. The country two special beaches for both the native and tourist, naming Batafarangai Beach and Port Dickinson. The beaches are accessible round the day and visitors crowd in the beach, take photos and make lots of fun. Some of the historical buildings have also been used as popular tourist destinations, and some of the notable such places are A Famosa, Sultan Abdul Samad Building, Malacca Christ Church, etc. Besides, the islands of the country are also famous for their breathtaking beauty. There are 3 islands including Sioman, Pankar, and Langkawi. The islands are always crowded with tourists from home and abroad. Besides, the museums of Malaysia are the other great source of entertainment for the tourists to gather knowledge about the country and its history. The museums are decorated with the valuable natural and artificial relics of different ages, and they represent the then society and culture. If you want to pass a long vacation in the country, you can hire different resorts with all modern facilities and can enjoy your vacation in Malaysia. Besides, shopping is a fun in the country, and the 3 shopping districts will offer you a large number of shopping malls and spaces to get the right thing for you. Besides, the Petronas Twin Towers is the other tourist destination in the country. This is one of the exciting places for the foreign nationals, and most of the times they take snapshots of them before the superstructure. Further, there are some theme parks available to entertain all types of travelers. The rides and surrounding environment of the parks are adorable and breathtaking. What are the impacts of tourism in your country? Well, tourism has many things to do with the country. Though the country is economically sound and does not need an external assistance, the tourism has been favoring the state in many ways. Firstly, it is creating employment opportunity for the unemployed and unskilled people at the tourist spots. The visitors are getting their necessary things from the local product sellers, which are a kind of employment for them. If there were no tourist, there would have no chances for the employments. Besides, the tourists are spending inside the country, which means they are consuming our products, and thus we need to grow more products which help raise the country's GDP. Moreover, the Malaysian products travel around the globe through the tourists. After they get the products from Malaysia, they expose them in different places, which is a kind of advertisement for us. It helps raising our fame, and also the demand of the products rise to some extent. Another matter should be brought under consideration: cleanliness. As tourists come to visit the natural spots and other visiting places, those parts are kept clean, which is helpful to protect the environment. Wastes are disposed in specific areas, and the cleaners also try their best to remove the wastes, which result in a cleaner environment. So, tourism also helps to keep the country clean. What are the positive impacts of tourism in your country? I think basically we have 3 notable impacts of tourism for my country. They include the environmental impacts, impacts on the economy, and socio-cultural impacts. Each of the impacts plays an important role in the advancement of the country. Earlier, I have said that tourism has some impacts on the economy and have explained how it helps to grow. Tourism helps to grow the local and small entrepreneurship inside the country. It encourages the locals to produce more and more products as per the demands of the tourists. If we consider the socio-cultural impacts, we will find that some of the cultures and events of Malaysia are being celebrated in the other parts of the world. How is it happening? In fact, the tourists who come visiting the state, they take the cultures way back to their home, and if that appears too funny or enjoyable for them, they spread that among the surroundings. This is the unique way to spread the Malaysian tradition in the other countries. The quality of the environment, including the artificial and natural, is kept on a sound state so that it could satisfy the visitors. When the visitors come to an attractive place, they usually are amazed at the very first sight. Environment plays the key role in this case. Thereby, I think all these three aspects help to improve Malaysia and in the future and the rate of improvement will be accelerated as well. What are the negative impacts of tourism in your country? Nothing in the world comes without any negativity, and similarly, tourism has some specific negative impacts on Malaysia. But the rates of the negative impacts are almost similar to the positive aspects. You know, when the tourists come from different parts of the globe, a large chunk of them are careless to the surrounding environment. As a result, they cause damage to the landscape. Sometimes the tourists make the campfire on the beaches, but they do not clean the space when they leave, which is unusual. Consequently, the specific land is to bear the negative impacts. Sometimes, traffic congestions occur inside the city, which becomes intolerable in certain cases for the natives. The other important aspect is that the price of the local goods becomes too expensive for the locals. Sometimes the needy Malaysian people even cannot bear the expenses of the necessary items, as those are sold to the tourists only at a higher price. Housing in the tourist areas also become expensive for the natives, and everything is dealt on a commercial basis. At times, in the beach areas, employment becomes seasonal. The employees are even not paid a higher remuneration as well, comparing the other small jobs. Besides, the government has to make infrastructures for the tourists and visitors, and consequently the tax on the common people get a hike. Sometimes there are few misunderstandings with the tourists which create an awkward situation in the spots. So, I think these are the detrimental impacts of tourism, but should not be considered as harmful for the country. Proper initiatives and guidelines will remove the troubles, I think. What do you think are the reasons people visit new places? There are several reasons for people's visiting different places. I think you cannot think about the traveling benefits. Mostly they want to know the unknown and see the unseen. Traveling is one of the greatest things to enjoy in life. There are certain seasons for traveling, like summer or winter, and people set out to have a trip around the world. When people go from one place to another, they experience a good number of things which were unseen to them before the trip. Traveling in new places is highly enjoyable and provides many things to the travelers. When people explore the places, they earn a priceless knowledge. They know the real world and experience the real things which were on their books. Gradually, our knowledge level increases than the ordinary people. People enjoy the places and explore different cultures where they go. Sometimes they try adopting the cultures in their own lives. But the most important thing is that traveling removes stress from the life. When you will go for traveling abroad, all your stress and mental anxiety will go down to level 0. As a result, you will be energized to start your responsibilities when you are back. Memory is an important thing that people have from their traveling. Memories never die. And the memories of traveling help to remember the joyful day when you are passing a gloomy climate in your real life. What can you tell about the future of tourism industry in your country? Smart question. Well, Malaysia is blooming every day. Tourism has become one of the important sectors of the country, and based on the sector, different initiatives have been adopted in the country and some are in the pipeline. In future, if the ideas are implemented, the tourism will be cheaper and easier for both the local and foreign nationals. Most of the cases, accommodation in expensive resorts or hotels become troublesome for the tourists, and they also cannot afford the prices of the knickknacks. If the Malaysian government takes proper initiatives to solve the issues, more and more travelers will make a stop in the country. The beaches are beautiful indeed, but the surrounding regions need renovations. It should be done by the private initiatives, and the number of affordable resorts and hotels should be increased. I think the government will take measures over the issue. Besides, it will improve the local productions and more employment will be created. In fact, it is the tourists who promote the local products in the international arena, and they should be taken care of properly. Traveling. Why do people need to travel every day? Well, people are in need of travel for numerous purposes. The first and most important cause of the travel is communication. Without a perfect communication, it becomes difficult to do everyday tasks. So, Communication over a telephone or by other means is less effective than the physical presence of any individual or party. If you are present in somewhere where you are supposed to be, you can make the issues clearer than communicating by the other means. But to be physically present there, you are to travel. Besides, people also travel for some leisure purposes as well. For instance, immediately after the marriage, the newlywed couple goes to visit some distant places or travel to discover something new in a foreign land. The trip they are undertaking is only for pleasure. Thereby, it appears that traveling is one of the important parts of human in the current days, and they undertake it to meet their respective purposes. What problems can people have when they are on their journey, for example to work or school? Why is this? People may experience several problems during their travels to offices or to schools. Traffic congestion is a common issue for all, and it kills time unusually. When they get stuck in a traffic jam, they are to sit idly, and it happens mostly when narrow roads are to accommodate more vehicle than it could do actually. Besides, they also may face the gas shortage in the vehicle. It is natural that the driver did not check the gas level and it ends in the middle of the destination. So, they are to change vehicles. Thirdly, and most importantly, they may also experience some accidents regardless of large or minor. Usually, accidents occur for several reasons, and the most prominent reason is the violation of the traffic guidelines. Often vehicle drivers start racing against time or each other and finally lose control over the vehicle, resulting in an unwanted accident. Some people say that daily journeys like these will not be so common in the future. Do you agree or disagree? Why? Thank you for the interesting question. I completely disagree with the statement. In the past days, the daily journeys were almost the same as they are today. There has been no notable change found yet. Moreover, the number of vehicles has increased and numerous destination routes have been created. As a result, people are traveling more and more comparing the past. Most of the people travel to meet their needs, and in future the need will grow more. As a consequence, the number of the daily journeys will increase. To accommodate the growing passengers, the number of vehicles will be increased by both public and private sector. In addition, I think the transportation system will be made developed than the current days. Traffic congestion will be removed and thus transportation will be smoother. What do you think people can learn from traveling to other countries? Why? Learning is an interesting issue, but one cannot learn everything he want. So, when people travel in foreign countries, they visit the historical places or pass some special moments in the tourist places where they have nothing much to learn actually. However, they could learn about the culture and customs of the place, partially. It is impossible to learn all the things within a short time. Mostly, people visiting a foreign country could learn about the eating habits, most famous customs, traditional issues etc., because the heritages are always prioritized before the tourists so that they could get a positive impression over the tourist spot or about the nation. However, some of the learning is helpful indeed. One may have heard about the Eiffel Tower but has not seen that. The trip to France will bear a great importance on the individual to learn about and observe the structure in real life. Can travel make a positive difference to the economy of a country? How? Yes, traveling can make a positive difference to some extent. When the travelers arrive at a different place, they are to get the necessary things in exchange of local currency. By this way, the local economy gets boosted. It receives the extra currency from the travelers and gradually the domestic production level increases. Besides, the travelers are always ready to visit the tourist spots, and when they spend currency for visiting the places, it opens the earning sources for the local people. Moreover, when the foreigners come to visit any country, they made different plans, and often it has been found that they are in professional relations with the people of the host country. It is really helpful for expanding the economy of a country by both formal and informal means. Do you think a society can benefit if its members have experience of traveling to other countries? In what ways? Definitely, A society could be benefited from the members who have traveling experiences. Usually, the people who have traveled in different parts of the globe are aware of many issues which are beyond to the limit of the ordinary people. The majority of the people grow idea about something by secondary perception. So, they clearly lack the inner and outer aspects over the issue. But when someone travels, he own the chance to see and know about the things clearly, and when they return to the native land, they share the experiences with the fellow men or in their community. As a result, a type of informal awareness is created in that specific society which is beneficial for them to a great extent. Besides, knowledge has no boundary and it could be transmitted to anyone by any forms. So, when the people return to their native land, they subconsciously try to spread the earned knowledge from the trip. By this way, the society could be benefited. 1. 2 Gifts and presents. 3. Tell me about any famous stores that sells presents. 4. Thank you. It's a great question to answer. Actually, there are a large number of stores, but I think Hallmark is one of the best stores for getting gifts within a reasonable price in India. The store specializes in selling greeting cards and small gift items necessary for all ages of people. At Hallmark, there are a wide number of greeting card categories and the collections are enriched with the creativity of the card makers. When you see the cards, it appears that the quotations are expressing your own thoughts. Usually, Hallmark produces and sells cards on occasions while the cards are made with great care and warmth of heart. You can have cards for almost all ages and types of people. Not only the couples are benefited with the cards, you can have the greeting cards for your mom, dad, sister, kids, friends, grandparents, for your boy or girlfriend, to wish in birthdays with birthday greeting cards, anniversary and other necessary occasions. Hallmark not only sells greeting cards, it also sells different types of gift items and knickknacks like jewelry, perfumes, shows pieces made with crystal, stone and glass, and other precious materials under a single shed. Mostly the cards and gifts are sold much on special occasions like New Year Eve, Valentine's Day, religious occasions, farewell, wedding, Christmas, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Friendship Day, Rakhi, or for congratulating others. The other notable gift items at Hallmark include dolls of different sizes and shapes, ornaments for male and female, brand watches, attractive key rings, fancy knives, handbags for women, wallets, leather bags, mugs, chocolates, toys for kids, stationery items, gift hampers, gift boxes, personalized gifts, photo frames and much more. The store is aimed to emotionally connect people and strengthen the bonding among them. The most important thing about the shop is that all the gift items sold here are made with care and the touch of creativeness is present. Tell me about any famous markets or stores which attract tourists. Pooh Bazaar is one of the most famous markets in India and visited by thousands of tourists including local and foreign. Located in Jaipur in India, Pooh Bazaar is a street market. This is considered as the heart of the locality for the extensive crowd. The market contains almost all forms of stuff for the people, and mostly people come here for the variety of the products and also get their everyday goods. Varieties of stuff and necessary things are sold here at a reasonable price. The most common trading items including clothing, ornaments, crockery, necessary household materials, toys, small dolls, leather goods like shoes and sandals, cosmetic items, books, plants, textiles, bangles, precious and semi-precious cherries, wedding materials, pottery, vegetables, fruits and many other things. The other most important factor for this market is that they trading need a lot of bargain. Generally, the sellers demand 3 or 4 times higher price than the actual price and you have to bargain with them. The product prices increase when the foreigners come to buy those, and if they cannot bargain well, there are chances that they are paying a higher price for the products. Besides, the locals also need to follow the same way of bargaining with the traders. But despite the comparatively higher price, the goods are of top quality and last longer. You will be surprised to know that my father bought a pair of leather sandals from this Pooh Bazaar, locally made, by Rs 650, and I have been using those for 3 consecutive years. Why are they popular with tourists? A good number of markets and shopping malls has been formed in India and they sell branded products with a fixed price. But there are some street markets where you can have almost the same products but with a reasonable price. I think the tourists who come to India do their homeworks before. As a result, they attracted to the street markets and visit the stalls. Besides, they come here to get the traditional Indian items which are unavailable in the modern shopping malls or centers. People are fond of exception and they become happy when they get the desired exceptional things. So, when they visit the shopping malls and see nothing special, they come to the street markets. Besides, the products are comparatively cheaper than the shopping malls. Usually, people make their wallets lighter when they go for shopping at the shopping malls while they could have bought the required stuff from the street markets easily. The tourists often have the chance to explore the market and pick the suitable one for them as the sellers have a huge collection of the things. But the shopping mall products have a limited collection and you might be in trouble over getting the right choice for you. The tourists are often surprised how the sellers sell the products at such a cheaper rate. Variety is the other important factor in attracting the tourists. The tourists can pick the necessary things amid a wide range of products. Usually, the stalls are laden with immense products and the tourists help themselves by picking the right one amid the thousand. Would you agree that presents are always advantageous for people? Yes, I do not agree that presents are advantageous for people who receive it. In fact, everyone loves to receive gifts, but there are some specific moments or situations. But it should be considered that when they are offered the gifts, regardless the size, shape or price, they become happy. A gift can change your mood or even can change the day. It brings happiness to those who receive it. Take a real-life example. If you want to make someone happy within a short time, you can offer a small present to the individual you want to make happy. It could be a piece of candy, chocolate or chewing gum. The impacts are instant. You will see a rapid change in that present receiver. If he were angry, that will be removed or the depressive attitude will be reduced to a great extent. But the situation should be brought under consideration. If someone is lamenting the death of near or dear ones and you offer him or her an irrelevant present instead of condolence, it would bear negative impacts on the relationship between you and the individual. So, it appears that presents are not always advantageous for people. They have some demerits as well. What kinds of presents are suitable for people in any situations? Well, I guess the small-sized presents are suitable for all the situations. There are some usual presents found in everywhere that can suit all the purposes. I can name a large number of gifts that can serve almost all the situations and they are economic as well. You can get a smartphone within your budget that could be presented in any situation. In the current days, the smartphones are the most desired things for their easy use and compatibility. Besides, if you have a lower budget and cannot get a smartphone, you can have some books of renowned writers. They are economic and also will provide pleasure to the gift receiver. Smartwatch is the other gadget that could be presented in any situation. If you are planning to attend an event and need a gift, get a smartwatch. Now different electronic gadget making companies are producing smartwatches and they are too handy to use. A box of chocolate would be considered as a surprise for the receiver and you can do it easily. Besides, attractive coffee mugs, a notebook with pen, a nice silk-made tie, small ornaments, for the females, a piece of shirt or a beautiful dress would do great. I have another idea in such cases. If you cannot pick anything, you can give the budgeted fund inside an envelope and allow the receiver to get the things he/she want to have. How do you think the way of giving presents will change in the future? This is a great issue to consider. People are fond of change and they also like to be habituated with the changes. Consequently, various changes have taken place in every sector of life, and in future there will be many other changes as well. The trend of giving presents to the others has also experienced few changes from the past days, and it is expected that in future the trend will be changed drastically. Currently, people offer presents to others on different occasions, and those presents are applicable for the receiver's real-life situations. But with the advancement of technology and science, people are tending to virtual gifts. They now send e-cards or e-gifts which help to make them happy in the virtual life. Earlier, people used to carry gifts to events they were invited. But now they, in fact, do not carry the gifts on the event day. Either they give the gifts in advance or keep it due to be presented later. Besides, now they prefer smaller gifts, and in most cases, the gifts are of no use except beautifying the showcases inside the home. Sometimes people provide gift boxes or gift hampers which are in fact not that much useful. In the past days the gifts were useful to the receivers in their practical life, as those were selected after considering the needs of the recipients, but currently, the gifts are becoming unusual and could be used rarely. Life is turning mechanized. Everyone is too busy to spend time in selecting gifts. So, I think people will start relying on virtual gifts. However, there are some detrimental impacts of the virtual gifts, as the receivers may not be satisfied with the virtual gifts as they are of no use at all in their life. Thereby, it may bring an extreme change in the society. Memory. Do you think that it's important to remember all the things? Why? Well, it is important to remember all the things, as the failure to remember the information right at the moment that is needed may cost more than your imagination. Let's take a very practical example. I'm attending the Ielts exam. I got prepared for the exam and accordingly answering the questions rightly. But what if I forget something important during the exam? If I cannot write the answer as I failed to remember the specific point or answer, then ultimately I will fail to pass the course and I have to take preparations again. The preparations include lots of reading, watching movies without subtitles, speaking with the other people and more others. Therefore, I think you have realized why it is important to remember all the things, don't you? How can we remember better things that need to be done during the day? There are several ways to remember things better which are needed for me. One can use his or her cell phone reminders to remind things that should be done, and I follow the way to get remembered in important issues. Besides, using notebooks is another way to remember things. If someone writes down the things to be done during the day and check the notebook from time to time, I think he will be able to remember things. Moreover, I have another interesting idea. If you write down your necessary things on a piece of paper before sleeping at night and check the paper on the next morning, I think you would be able to remember better. How can a good memory help people to do their work? I think you won't disagree that a good memory is one of the best gifts to a man from Lord. It is of great help to us. When the memories are dull, we cannot do anything, and even I have seen that an aged man has lost his way to home since he forgot the address. The entire event was too pathetic for him and I helped him reaching his home. So, there are many other troubles have also been found for the memory loss. If you have a sharp memory, you can instantly respond to any issue and the immediate response would be in your favor. Besides, if you cannot respond instantly as you forgot the issue, you may have to regret in the long run. Thereby, it is important to have a good memory, and a good memory is of great help for the people. Tourism and tourists. What are the tourist attractions in your country? Thank you. Well, Singapore is a land of beauty and numerous tourist attractions have made the country lucrative to all, especially the rich people. The cities are filled with both natural and artificial beauties to entertain the travelers, and the number of amenities prepared for the tourists is countless. The country has a vibrant history of different periods, and most of the tourist spots are friendly for the family. The most notable tourist attractions of Singapore are the Orchard Road, Marina Bay Sands, Buddha Tooth Relic Temple, Singapore Flyover, Night Safari, Singapore Botanic Gardens, Chinatown, Gardens by the Bay, Clarke Quay, Resorts World Sentosa etc. Orchard Road is considered as the most important tourist spot in the country as there are a large number of shopping malls are located for shopping and other purposes. But the country has many other things to offer to the tourists other than the shopping malls and restaurants. The public transportation system is a great wonder for the visitors too. Should they be free for everyone to visit? Some of the tourist locations are free of cost while you may have to pay for entrance in some places. I think you are informed that the reserved places need to be maintained. The Night Safari in Singapore is such a reserved place. A large number of wild animals are found here and they need foods, shelters and other necessary amenities for maintenance. If the safari is made free for the visit, it would be too difficult and in some cases impossible to maintain the park. The overall activities are maintained from the entrance fee it collects from the visitors. So, I personally feel that some places should be made free and a minimal cost should be imposed on the private or reserved places so that everyone could enjoy. Sometimes the tourists do not enter at the costly places fearing that they will be cheated against the amount they are paying. In a word, the places are not worth the money. Do foreigners visit these attractions? Yes. The foreigners frequently visit the places and sometimes it becomes difficult to collect the entrance tickets too for excessive crowds. The crowds become dense especially on the weekends and occasions. Foreigners from across the world gather at the places and pass their leisure hours in various ways after their tastes. Since the places are costlier, usually the rich people bear the abilities to visit. Sometimes I think that the number of rich on the planet is not few as I myself had to stand in a queue for longer hours to enter into an amusement park, recently in Singapore, which also proves that the tourist attractions are popular among the global visitors. What are the benefits of foreigners visiting tourist attractions in your country? Yes, there is a wide range of benefits as the foreigners visit the tourist attractions of Singapore. The most important matter is that my country's economy grows bigger when the foreigners come to my country. When they pay for their accommodation, food and shopping, they are contributing to my nation's economy. Besides, many of the temporary sellers set their stall beside the tourist spots and make a good deal of business with the tourists, especially the foreigners. It helps to raise their living standard, in economical perspective. Besides, the culture and customs of my country gets spread around the world through the visitors and being attracted to the customs, they come again which finally improves the economy of Singapore. Further, a large tourist industry has been built in the country which has created employment for many unemployed youths, another positive impact of the tourists visiting the attractive places. What are the disadvantages of it? I agree with you. There are some disadvantages too of the tourists. Sometimes there are misunderstandings among the tourists and the sellers over the pricing issues of any specific product. When they cannot reach any agreement, they lock into minor altercations. Sometimes the tourists are unaware about the cleanliness of the tourist spots and throw away water bottles or snack packets here and there. As a result, the environment is spoiled to some extent. Do you know about any environmental issues associated with it? Actually, there are no such major environmental issues associated with the tourists. There are few minor issues as I mentioned in the earlier answer that they spoil the surrounding environment with empty packets, water bottles or throwing papers, but I think these are not a major threat for environmental degradation. It would be taken as a serious environmental threat if the tourists used to pollute water, air or the other ecological elements of the environment. Please be noted that my government is highly careful about the environmental issues and if such incidents happen in future, proper protective measures will be adopted to prevent the issues. Old objects and museum. Why do you think people keep old objects? Smart question for me. Thank you. Generally, people are fond of memories. From the ancient time they have been trying to preserve the memories by different ways. One of the most popular ways is to preserve some stuff or materials which would remind them the past or any specific past events. The stuff and materials help them recalling their past. This is one of the key reasons for keeping the old objects. Besides, they preserve the old objects sometimes as they want to exhibit their past vigor to others or want to expose their traditional beliefs or heritage which once was on the top. Further, there are some people who love to collect old things, but those people are fewer in number. They collect the old and ancient stuff for their private use or sometimes make large collections to satisfy their souls. But I think the most important fact about collecting the old objects might be the love for those objects. When they come in close contact with the objects, they feel a sense of deep satisfaction and remember the memories that they have underwent in different times of their life. Those objects may remind them their past struggles for survival or any other interesting events that make them smile silently. Why do people go to museums? Well, the museum is a place where the past is kept carefully. The relics of the past are preserved for public exhibition. Museums are considered as the storehouse of olden days. Histories are preserved here so that the visitors could get knowledge about the past happenings that they have not seen before. Besides, the educative values are too high. When people go to museums, they can gather practical knowledge, learn about a wide number of issues about their respective countries of any specific period. Besides, it is a very good way to pass leisure hours inside the well-decorated museums. When the tourists have nothing else to do in the foreign countries, they go to visit the museums as it will pass their times, and they could also get some ideas about the cultures, customs and the overall histories of the country. What are the benefits of going to museums? There are a large number of benefits of visiting a museum. Firstly, you'll be able to know about the histories of any place. Then you'll have some concrete ideas about that place. Again, when you are in a museum, you will gather some practical knowledge about the things and stuff you have heard about but not seen before. For instance, I had no idea about military weapons, but I got a very practical idea after visiting a military museum where a wide range of weaponry was exhibited for public viewing. Additionally, when you are visiting a museum, you are becoming a witness of different interesting events that took place even before your parents' birth. So, isn't it very interesting? Is it better to see things in a museum rather than just learn about them? I think experiencing things practically or physically is better than learning about them. In this case, you can count my own experience over visiting the military museum. I heard about hand grenade, rocket launchers, missiles, firearms like pistols, revolvers, machine guns and more. But I did not have the luck to see them very closely. I have seen some of those using by the law enforcers. But when I entered, you won't believe how thrilled I was. It was like I have got heaven in my hand. A very wide number of weapons was exhibited before me, and it appeared that those were exhibited only for me. I didn't touch them, though. It was an unforgettable experience for me. I tried to compare the knowledge I had on the weapons but found that I was wrong in most cases as I did not see them practically before. Thereby, it is important to see the things you want to see, and it will help you to get the right and perfect idea about the things you want to know. But if you hear only, the knowledge will remain incomplete. Old buildings. Is it important to conserve old buildings? Thank you for the chance to answer the challenging question. Well, there are no straight answers for this question, and the answer may vary from place to place. To me, it appears that some of the people are interested to demolish the old buildings and replace them with a modern one for good looks and considering the commercial purposes. But there are some other people who are on the view to conserve the ancient structures and buildings as those are the relics of past construction. Those buildings resemble the style and manner of past and in some places are considered as heritage as well based on their construction style and age. Besides, they also believe that preserving the old buildings points to preserving the history. So, they are against the view to replace the old buildings with the newer ones. However, in my sense, the old buildings should be preserved unless they are decayed to the extreme level. When the buildings are in the state of collapse, then those should be repaired, and if the repairing is impossible, then should be rebuilt within the same style. The initial design should be kept as long as it could go. When a completely different structure is built at the same place after razing the old ones, histories and pasts are destroyed too. Do many people in your country live in old buildings? Actually Singapore is mostly a tourist country. There are fewer old buildings. Most of the people live in concrete-made buildings. Earlier, Singapore was a small territory, and with the rapid expansion of the economy, the real estate sector of the country has bloomed to a larger extent. As a result, there are several types of houses are mushrooming across the country, including skyscrapers, luxurious buildings and mansions, etc. Besides, there are some other shophouses are also found, located mostly in the commercial area, where the sellers live with their respective families on the first floor and continue their business on the ground floor. The mansions and skyscrapers are made in different categories, and they offer numerous features and facilities to the residents. Most of the people live in concrete-made dollar flats, while the flats belong to several categories like 2 rooms flat, 3 rooms flat, studio flat or exclusive flats, etc. What do you prefer, an old or a modern building to live in? Ha ha ha. Tough question for me. Since I have been born and brought up in an exclusive flat, it is naturally difficult for me to live in older buildings. But it does never point that I am ignoring the old structures, rather I'm on the view to conserve them. In fact, not habituated to live in the old buildings as they are devoid of modern amenities to live in the current days. Have you ever been to Singapore? Ooh. Then you are unaware that there are less walking or exercise spaces across the country, and particularly in the part where I live in. On the ground floor of my flat, I have a small gymnasium and a swimming pool which help me greatly to get my necessary daily exercises. But such facilities are not available in the older buildings. It should be acknowledged that the older buildings have spacious rooms with natural lighting, but they lack the modern sanitation system, which is uncomfortable for me. How do people in your country feel about protecting historic buildings? Most of the people in my country would advocate protecting any significant historic building. The historic buildings in my country are the icons of our heritage, and we feel very proud to have them. It is not unlikely for people to protest against any planning or activities that might negatively affect our tradition and historic significance, including those building. I can recall an event from my college days when our teacher asked us to leave the classroom and take part in a rally that would march towards the local administrative complex to protest a decision taken by the local authority to diminish an old building to establish a hospital there. This old building was more than 1,000 years old, and it was once a part of the early independence movement in our country against the invaders of a foreign power. The protest took a great shape, and people stayed there until the local authority assured that they will talk to the higher authority about it. The protest continued to grow, and eventually after few months it won its victory when an alternative landscape was chosen to build the hospital. In fact, these types of events in my country are not rare, and that shows our feelings about the historic buildings. Do you think an area can benefit from having an interesting historic place locally? In what way? An interesting historic place encourages national and international tourists to travel to this area, and this in terms of tourism and economic development is crucial. Local people get many benefits from a renowned tourist spot, including employment opportunity, better exposure of their culture and custom to the world, and finally they get many development works in their area since the government invests in promoting the area. Apart from that, having a historic place is a matter of pride, and people of such area can easily describe their hometown or locality to the people of other parts of the country. What do you think will happen to historic places or buildings in the future? Why? I think the prominent and popular historic places and buildings which are famous among national and international tourists would survive, and the government would try to preserve such places both because of its historic and economic significances. Besides, many other historic places which are the part of the national pride would also continue to exist as they are known throughout the country, and government would take care of such places. However, there are many historic buildings and places that are less famous and have very few visitors to visit them. Such buildings and places would face catastrophic destiny in a distant future. As the population of our country is increasing, the necessity would appear to diminish such buildings and to establish a new multi-complex building. I guess such less important historic buildings and places would cease to exist after a century when the generation of that time would give less priority to their past heritage than their present necessity. Is it important to conserve old buildings? Why? Well, I do not think that this is important to conserve the old buildings. It is true that they are our heritage, but sometimes we need space for the newer things. Usually, the old buildings are larger in size and shape. In most of the cases, the buildings are of no use at all. They are only kept as showpieces for people. If modern structures are built replacing the old buildings, then I think the newer one could accommodate more people inside the building. Besides, the spaces used to make modern buildings is smaller comparing to the old ones. The empty spaces could be used for some other purposes. Many of the people are on the view that the old buildings contain large gardens and those may also get destroyed with the demolitions of the structures. But if the gardens are rebuilt with the modern structures covering large spaces, I think that would look more beautiful than the former one. Is the history useful for the coming generations? Why? This is a vital question. History is not that much useful for the coming generations as much the importance of history is considered, I think. Many of you could have different saying in this fact and I humbly admit the logics. But, history actually helps to make people aware of the past issues and mostly focus on different types of movements, revolutions etc. History helps to make people aware and take lessons from the past events. It reveals the mistakes and advises not to do the same mistake twice. Interestingly, there are no such practices or situations found in the current days. So, we do not need to learn from the history. Thereby, I think history is less useful to the young generations. But it should be acknowledged that the coming generation should be aware of the histories of their respective countries. It is helpful to make them conscious about their own origins. What is the difference between houses built in the past and now? Well, there are some basic differences in the houses built in the past and present. The houses in the past were made with ample space. Usually, the rooms were wide and spacious. There were options for natural lightings. In most of the cases, the houses were one-storied and had a large roof where people used to plant different plants and had gardens before the open space of the house. Many of the houses were built with porches that lead to the main entrance. But the houses built in the present days are a bit dissimilar. The number of multi-storied buildings is more in the current days. Besides, the rooms are not that much spacious as it was supposed to be. There are no porches, rather the modern houses have underground garages to park vehicles. Most of the houses are stretched to the upwards due to lack of space and thus the majority of such buildings have no greens with them. What are the differences in sizes of houses? Why? Size matters most for building a house. In the past days, the spaces to build a house were more comparing the current days. The most important cause to have more space was the less population. With the advancement of time, the global population has also increased to the greatest extent. So, it is becoming tougher to accommodate the population. As a result, most of the lands are being used to make houses and even the arable lands are also used in some parts of the world to accommodate the growing population. When you are to accommodate a large group of people, surely you will be in need of large spaces. But, in the past days, the population was limited while the spaces were more. People had more individual lands where they have built houses in large open spaces with suitable facilities. But in the current days, the lands are fragmented and have made the spaces limited due to overpopulation in different parts of the world, and accordingly, the houses are being made with smaller shapes to accommodate the growing population. Do you prefer a big or a small house? Why? To be frank, I prefer to live in a small house with some specific conditions. The house must be served with modern amenities. In fact, I am habituated to live in a small house, and small room in a corner will do fine for me. Living in a large house appears unusual to me. I do not love empty spaces, whereas most of the large houses own some sort of empty spaces. Besides, I feel uncomfortable with the large house in night times, as I have experienced are some spooky environments in a large house. Besides, modern facilities are absent in the large houses, like, there are no attached toilets. So, I prefer to live in a small modern house.